in the 6th universe. Currently in the 6th universe, more precisely on the planet Sadala where the Saiyans lived, in that universe, it was possible to see that in an isolated corner of the planet, Caulifla and Cabba were training together. Both were in their Super Saiyan forms, and further back was Kale, who had already finished her training with Caulifla, and now she was resting a little. Caulifla had a lot of energy, and that was making her two friends curious why Caulifla was so euphoric and excited these last few days, and at the same time that made Caulifla's friends curious. They were worried. The big reason for Caulifla's concern was that the fact she had recently been facing other Saiyans on her planet. Caulifla was only facing men, and every time she won she got angry, for some reason that not even Kale, who was her closest friend, seemed to know. The only thing the other Saiyans knew was that Caulifla was wanting to face a very strong Saiyan male, and strangely she wanted to use all her power and still be defeated by that Saiyan. And that left everyone surprised because Caulifla hated many things and losing a match was at the top of that list. Caulifla and Cabba were fighting with one big difference in level because Caulifla was much stronger than at the time of the Tournament of Power, and Cabba ended up being more relaxed since he didn't face opponents stronger than him. Cabba ended up being distracted for a second in the middle of that fight, and taking advantage of that, Caulifla hit a blast of energy on the Saiyan, who ended up being thrown against a mountain, crossing it in the process, and when the girl saw that Cabba was already very weak and could no longer continue combat, Caulifla returned to her original base form and was angered by Cabba's weakness. Caulifla spoke. "You got too relaxed, Cabba. Even though the Tournament of Power has already passed you, you should keep evolving to be able to be stronger and honor the strength of the Saiyans. But you started to fight with those weaklings, and that made you a relaxed weakling too. If you don't get stronger, you'll never be capable of protecting planet Sadala, let alone defeating me. I'm already going to my house because I want to rest a little," said the Saiyan, leaving the place and leaving only Cabba lying on the ground, weak because of the last fight, and Kale, who was not understanding anything of what was happening with her friend and master. Cabba said, "Kale, you're sure you don't know why Caulifla is so different these last few days? It's been a week since she's been acting like this, picking fights with the strongest Saiyans on the planet. At first I thought it was just for her to show that she's the strongest, but now it seems that Caulifla wants to be defeated by one of us, and she's only facing the men. This woman will end up killing me at some point, because of her intense training to make me stronger. Caulifla always says the same thing. If you don't get stronger, you'll never be able to protect the planet Sadala, and much less defeat me. I'm already tired of hearing this every day," said the boy, still lying on the ground, but now in his base form, while looking at Kale, who was beside him. Kale said, "Caulifla has been acting strange since the day she talked to her mother. If I remember correctly, her mother told her that it was time to find a Saiyan husband, but Caulifla refused, saying she would not stay with one Saiyan who was weaker than her. And since that day, Caulifla has been acting this way. So I would say that Caulifla is doing this to prove that she doesn't need to marry any Saiyan. And maybe Caulifla is pressuring you so that you get stronger than all the Saiyans, so that she can defeat you and show that she's the strongest and doesn't need anyone," said the woman, finding an explanation for the strange behavior of her friend. And that made Cabba even more worried, since he would have to get stronger and stronger by being defeated by Caulifla again. Cabba said, "Well, it looks like I'm not going to be beaten for a long time until Caulifla gets tired of hitting me, or until I defeat her, something I doubt will happen. And even if I defeat her, I wouldn't want to stay with Caulifla, because I already like a Saiyan girl. She just doesn't know it yet, or didn't realize it," said the Saiyan, blushing a little and looking away, avoiding eye contact with Kale, who was curious to know who that girl was. Kale said, "Who's the lucky one who managed to win the heart of one of the strongest Saiyans on the planet Sadala, and also called a hero for some of his exploits, saving other planets? Tell me, Cabba, and I promise that no one will know, not even Caulifla," asked the curious woman as she looked at Cabba, who was embarrassed at that moment. Cabba said, "Kale, I'm going to tell you who I like, but it won't be with words, but with a gesture. And I ask you not to hate me for what I'm going to do, okay?" asked the Saiyan, getting up and sitting down, facing Kale, who was confused by that. Kale said, "Huh? Well, the way you said it sounds like something important, but I'm going to hate you no matter what, so tell me who you like, Cabba," the woman asked with an innocent smile on her face, as she looked at Cabba, who was embarrassed and a little afraid. Cabba, even being embarrassed at that moment, he took the courage and kissed Kale, who was very surprised by that, and even thought about separating from Cabba, but she was enjoying it. Kale pulled Cabba's face closer, deepening and prolonging that kiss, but after a few minutes both ran out of air and separated. Cabba said, "I like you, Kale. I've been feeling it since the day we met, and after spending so much time together training, I was sure I like you. And that's why, even if I beat Caulifla, she wanted to stay with me, I wouldn't stay with her because I like you and only you," said the Saiyan, finally confessing his true feelings to Kale, who said nothing. She just pulled Cabba for another kiss. That surprised the Saiyan, but he soon returned the woman's kiss. Cabba and Kale were exchanging caresses for a long time. Now with Caulifla. Currently with Caulifla, it was possible to see that the Saiyan was at her home, eating something that her mother had made for her earlier, and after devouring everything she saw ahead, the girl was very frustrated for not being able to find a Saiyan that is good enough to stay with, until her mind ended up remembering another Saiyan, one she met during the Tournament of Power. Caulifla spoke. "That's it. If none of these good-for-nothing Saiyans are any good to me, then I'm going after the old man Son Goku. He's very strong. And he's not that ugly. I know Son Goku is married to a human. I think and I know that she's very weak. But I can make him stay with me, and that way Goku will be a real Saiyan by my side, and I'll have a strong Saiyan on my side. And if I have a son in the future, he will be the most powerful Saiyan in the 6th universe," said the Saiyan with a smile on her face, and soon leaving that place. Now in the 7th universe. Currently in the 7th universe, it was possible to see Goku and Vegeta training together. And it was also possible to see 2 pillars of energy appearing in that place, and in one of these pillars Beerus came out with Whis, and in the other was Vados, Champa, and Caulifla. Goku said, "Caulifla, what did you come to Universe 7 to do? It's not new for Champa and Vados to come visit Universe 7, but this is the first time you've come too. Did something happen on the Saiyan planet of Universe 6? The Saiyan spoke, asking several questions at the same time, while looking at the Saiyan who just arrived at the place, along with the God of Destruction and the Angel of the 6th Universe. Caulifla said, "It's nothing like what you just said, Son Goku. I came to the 7th Universe to train with you. I'm wanting to get stronger, but there's no Saiyan who can help me. So I came here for you to help me get more powerful and learn how to transform into Super Saiyan 3, said the Saiyan, not revealing her true intentions to come to the 7th Universe. Champa said, "Caulifla will be here for 72 hours, so try to teach her during that time. Now I'm going because I want to know if the food here is better than the planet Earth of my universe," said the God of Destruction, leaving the place with Beerus, Vados, and Whis. Goku said, "Since it's like that, then let's train in a quieter and more isolated place," said the Saiyan, leaving the place with Caulifla, and soon the Saiyan arrived in a quieter place to train. Caulifla, wanting to take the Saiyan by surprise, advanced against him, but Goku was faster and dodged, and then Caulifla pretended to stumble, and ended up falling on top of Goku, who soon ended up realizing that Caulifla had fallen, and kissed him in the process. Caulifla thought, "Yes!" thought the Saiyan, very excited as she managed to stumble so she could kiss the Saiyan. In the 7th Universe. Currently in the 7th Universe, more precisely in a field far from civilization on planet Earth, it was possible to see Son Goku and Caulifla together. The oldest Saiyan was lying on the ground and Caulifla was on top of him, kissing him, and Son Goku, for being very innocent, did not notice what was happening immediately. But as soon as Son Goku realized what was happening, he got up and walked away from Caulifla, who was surprised since it seemed to her that the Saiyan was enjoying that. Caulifla looked at the Saiyan, who at that moment was touching her lips with a confused expression. Goku said, "Why did you do that, Caulifla? Isn't what you did something only couples do? You and I are not a couple, so why did you do that?" asked the Saiyan, confused with why Caulifla had done that, and that left the woman very surprised and confused by the fact that a Saiyan like Son Goku, who was already married and had children, didn't know what a mere kiss was. Caulifla thought, "Wait, you don't know what a kiss is? He's older than me, he's married, and he already has 2 children, and he's even a grandfather, and still Son Goku doesn't know what a kiss is. I thought he was innocent because of what Vados told me about him while we were coming to Universe 7. But I think with that level of innocence, it ends up being pretty hard to believe that Goku is married and already has kids. Well, that might be good for me. If I can convince Goku that it would be right for him to be with a Saiyan and not with a human, I can be able to make him mine," thought the woman, looking at the older Saiyan in front of her, who was still confused about everything that was happening. Caulifla said, "Sorry, old man, I ended up doing that because I accidentally fell on top of you, but that wasn't on purpose," said the woman, giving some excuse. Goku said, "Well, if that wasn't on purpose, then it's okay. Now, let's train because you're only going to stay here for the 7th universe for 3 days, and that's the time I have to teach you how to transform into Super Saiyan 3, said the Saiyan with a more lively tone. After all, if the subject was training, Son Goku would get excited at the time. Caulifla said, "Let's go. I hope you're ready because I'm going to be able to master this Super Saiyan 3 power in just 3 days, said the excited Saiyan while looking at the older Saiyan, who just smiled at that. Thus began the hard training of Goku and Caulifla so that she would learn to transform into a Super Saiyan 3. Over the course of training Caulifla, whenever she could manage to stumble and fall on top of Goku to kiss him or squeeze her breasts against the Saiyan, and she always claimed that it was a small accident, Goku, for being very innocent, ended up believing in the words of the girl, who did that more and more. And as they only had 72 hours to train, the two stayed at the training place during the time that Caulifla would be in the 7th universe. And when Goku and Caulifla needed to sleep, they slept in a cave for close, and Caulifla always managed to sleep next to Goku, saying she was cold or something similar. And Goku always believed her, since Caulifla didn't have any kind of bad intentions against him, or he thought. 2 days later. 2 days had passed since the beginning of Caulifla's training, and Son Goku was being a good master to the Saiyan, who sometimes challenged Son Goku to a fight. And in all, Son Goku managed to defeat Caulifla, and most of the time, Goku didn't even need to use Super Saiyan 2. But in some of those fights, Son Goku ended up transforming into Super Saiyan 2, to show the difference between the strength he had and the strength that Caulifla had at that moment. Currently, with the two Saiyans, it was possible to see that they were both sweaty. Caulifla was sweatier than Goku, since they had just finished a friendly match, where Son Goku once again came out as the winner. Goku said, "You're becoming stronger and stronger, Caulifla. This time I really needed to use Super Saiyan 2 to defeat you, and you seem to be almost ready to be able to transform into Super Saiyan 3, said the Saiyan while looking at Caulifla, who was a little out of breath because of the fight that had ended a few minutes ago. Caulifla said, "I have a little more than 24 hours in the 7th universe, and I will have to be able to transform into a Super Saiyan 3 during that time, and of course I know that I will achieve this power. After all, I'm a very powerful Saiyan, different from those humans you live with and call family," said the Saiyan while looking at Son Goku, who was curious because Caulifla had already said several times that humans were weak compared to Saiyans. Goku said, "Caulifla, why do you keep talking about humans that way? And why do you like to ask me so many questions related to my personal life and my marriage to my wife Chi-Chi? Why do you do that, Caulifla?" asked the Saiyan, really curious about why Caulifla talked so much about his personal life and his wife Chi-Chi that was starting to bother the Saiyan. Caulifla said, "Why do I keep talking about humans and your wife that way? Because they're very weak and fragile. They're not like the two of us. They're not Saiyans. These humans think that this paper and coin made of metal they call money is the most important thing in the world. They're different from us, Saiyans, who are always getting more powerful, and in my opinion, strength is the most important thing. After all, the strong dominate, not the weak," said the Saiyan, looking at Son Goku, who was understanding now why Caulifla was acting and spoke that way. Goku said, "I can't say you're wrong, because many humans are like that, but the ones I know aren't like that. They care about each other, and some of them are very strong, like Master Roshi and Krillin. They are human, and they're very strong because they managed to defeat other beings during the Tournament of Power," said the Saiyan while looking at Caulifla, who sighed a little and then had an idea. Caulifla said, "You and your wife, this Chi-Chi, she's a weak human and doesn't even accept you as you really are. You are a Saiyan, and we Saiyans always want to train and face stronger opponents. But Chi-Chi hates that you train, and she still beats you up just because she doesn't like the way you are. The truth is that you should break up with her as soon as possible, because that Chi-Chi doesn't deserve you. You should stay with a Saiyan like me, because only a Saiyan could understand the way you think and act," said the woman looking at Son Goku, who couldn't deny that his wife acted the way Caulifla had said. Goku said, "I know Chi-Chi is like that, but I still like her even with her way. I love Chi-Chi, even though she beats me up for stupid reasons. In addition to being married to Chi-Chi, I also have 2 children with her. I would never be able to abandon her. After all, we've been together for many years," said the Saiyan, confessing that even though his wife was like that, Goku still liked her. Caulifla said, "You say that, but you've never been with another woman besides her, and especially, you've never been with a Saiyan like me," said the Saiyan, going to Son Goku. Caulifla, when approaching Son Goku, pulled him for a kiss, and after they separated, Caulifla was surprised because Son Goku pulled her by the waist and kissed her, something that made the Saiyan widen her eyes, and after a few seconds Caulifla began to return the kiss, which lasted several seconds before the two broke apart. Goku said, "This will be our secret, and you shouldn't tell anyone, Caulifla," said the Saiyan while gently holding Caulifla's face. Caulifla said, "Why keep this kiss if we can do something much better, and keep it for ourselves?" said the woman looking at Goku, and soon the two kissed again, only now with more intensity. The next day at Capsule Corporation. Currently, it was possible to see Vados and Champa in front of the Capsule Corporation with everyone, including Goku's family, and soon Caulifla went close to Vados. Caulifla said, "Thanks for the training, old man. I promise that the next time I meet you, I'll have mastered the full power of Super Saiyan 3. By then, I will train tirelessly to surpass you," said the Saiyan while she looked at Goku, who just gave a short laugh. Goku said, "That's what I hope. After all, I want to fight against you again, and if you need, you can come back to have a new training," said the Saiyan, looking at Caulifla, who understood what he really meant. Caulifla said, "Absolutely," said the woman before having her body surrounded by a pillar of energy that soon rose to the heavens toward the 6th universe. Years later. It had been a few years since the day of the Saiyan of the 6th universe, Caulifla, and the Saiyan of the 7th universe, Son Goku, ended up kissing and having a more intimate relationship that day. Being more precise, it was about 3 years since that day when Son Goku had betrayed his wife Chi-Chi to stay with Caulifla, and that secret no one knew but the two of them. Not even the closest friends of both Saiyans knew about the secret. Not even the gods of destruction and the angels knew that Goku and Caulifla became more than student and master. Since that day when Caulifla got some time, she asked Vados to take her to the 7th universe on the pretext of training with Son Goku to be able to get stronger, and she really got stronger every time she came back. But the second time she went until planet Earth, she managed to master the power of Super Saiyan 3 in her maximum form. And in addition, she managed to transform and improve on it, and so she didn't spend so much energy to maintain that Super Saiyan 3 transformation. And of course, Caulifla didn't go to Universe 7 only to be trained by Goku, but also in the meantime she ended up becoming Goku's lover, and they always stayed together in a way that no one would suspect both Saiyans were in love. But with the passage of time, Cabba and Kale began to go together from Caulifla to the 7th universe to train, and that got in the way of Caulifla a lot, since she had to share Goku's attention with Cabba and Kale, and that stressed Caulifla a lot. But one way or another she managed to escape to be alone with Son Goku, where they kissed and did other things for several hours. Cabba and Kale never realized that Goku and Caulifla had a romantic relationship, since both were in a relationship too, and when Goku went out with Caulifla, Cabba took the opportunity to be alone with Kale, and so they stayed for 3 long years. And even Son Goku claiming that he liked his wife Chi-Chi, he still liked that new feeling he had with Caulifla. Caulifla really liked being with Son Goku, but she hated the fact that Goku had a human wife that she always threw in the Saiyan's face, the things she did to him, these things that Chi-Chi could never do, and Goku knew that Caulifla was right. But still he liked Chi-Chi, and that irritated Caulifla a lot, because the fact that she knew that her beloved Saiyan liked another woman made the girl's blood boil, and the desire she had to kill Chi-Chi was very big. And she just didn't do that before not to end up irritating Son Goku, besides being able to end her current relationship with Goku. After all, that for her was better than not having Son Goku by her side anymore. Currently in the 7th universe. Currently in the 7th universe, being more precise on planet Earth, it was possible to see Son Goku and Caulifla training together in a place that only the two of them knew, and they went to train together in addition to being a place where they could be together in intimacy. And in that place, the two were training together. Both were in their Super Saiyan 3 forms, fighting intensely because the shocks of the blows were delivered generated a great wave of impact that destroyed much of the place where they were. The two Saiyans were facing each other for a long time, and after all this time, both stopped training and returned to their base forms. And Caulifla was very tired because even managing to use the power of Super Saiyan 3 more efficiently and with less energy expenditure, but even so, she still got so tired when using that transformation. Even though it was very powerful, depending on the fight, it would not be a good choice for Caulifla to use that transformation. And she knew that even if she managed to maintain the transformation, Super Saiyan 3 was a lot of power for her. Goku said, "Caulifla, you're a little stronger since our last training. You still can't maintain your Super Saiyan 3 transformation for a long time. I know you're training a lot to reduce the amount of energy you spend to keep the power active, But I recommend that instead of training to not use so much energy, it would be better for you to train to increase your energy. And with that, you'll be able to stay transformed into a Super Saiyan for longer in the future. And I speak this from my own experience, since I trained a lot to maintain the Super Saiyan 3 for much longer. Saiyan said while looking at Caulifla, who was lying on the floor of that place, panting and listening to the words of her master and lover. Caulifla said, I think I've already reached a good level of mastery over the power of Super Saiyan 3, and it's about time to teach me how to transform myself into that form where you got that flaming aura and your hair is red. If I remember well, you called it Super Saiyan God, and you can't say that I'm not ready to achieve that power, because I know I am. Even Cabba got the power of Super Saiyan God before me, and she managed to transform into a Super Saiyan 3, and even Kale also managed to transform into a Super Saiyan God recently. And the way Cabba keeps talking about Vegeta, he seems to be a good master, and it makes sense that he would prefer to train with Vegeta than with you, since you only taught me how to transform into a Super Saiyan 3, and nothing more, said the Saiyan in a slightly indignant tone, due to the fact that Cabba and Kale had achieved a power that goes beyond her power. Goku said, I thought you were only interested in Super Saiyan 3, because last time I tried to teach you one of my teleportation techniques, you refused, saying you wanted to learn how to transform into Super Saiyan 3, and that was it. So I thought I'd just teach you to transform into Super Saiyan 3. But if you want me to teach you how to transform into Super Saiyan God, I will help you. But we would have to do the ritual for you to gain the power of Super Saiyan God. Or we can use that method that Vegeta used to transform into Super Saiyan God, without needing the ritual. But this method will take a while, but you will be able to reach the power of Super Saiyan God. And knowing you, I'm sure that you will master this power quickly. After all, you're a very hard worker, said Goku while looking at Caulifla, who gave up at the same time because she was anxious to get such power, and soon after approaching Goku, giving a surprise kiss, making Goku very happy. Caulifla said, I admit that at first I just wanted you to teach me how to transform into a Super Saiyan 3, but now I want to know how to transform into a Super Saiyan God, and then I want to learn transformation into Super Saiyan Blue. Speaking of teaching me, I want you to teach me that technique that you used several times during the Tournament of Power. If I remember correctly, you called it Kamehameha, and also that Genki Dama, and then you teach me how to use the teleportation technique that Vegeta can use, said Caulifla while looking at Goku, who ended up taking one of his hands to the back of his neck and started scratching it lightly. Goku thought, for someone who really wants to learn anything other than Super Saiyan 3, now she wants to learn all my transformations and techniques, including the Kamehameha. Looks like I have a lot of work ahead of me, the Saiyan thought, while looking at Caulifla, who was very excited to learn everything that Goku could teach her. Goku said, right, since that's how we're going to start your training to get the power of Super Saiyan God, and then to get Super Saiyan Blue, I already say that it will be much more complicated than your training to get Super Saiyan 3, said the Saiyan, warning his disciple and lover that the new training would not be easy, and that only made the girl more excited. Caulifla said, if it was easy, I would hit you a lot, so let's start. She spoke to the Saiyan excitedly as she looked at Son Goku. Goku said, let's go, and I hope you still have energy, because tomorrow we'll have to go back to the 6th universe, so we'll have our farewell as usual. So get ready, Caulifla, said the Saiyan while looking at his lover, who became even more excited to hear these words come out of his lover's mouth. Caulifla said, so you remembered. Good to know you're also looking forward to our last night of my visit. And I'm sure I'll have plenty of energy for our Son Goku night, so let's get this training started. Caulifla spoke, much more excited than before when hearing those words from Son Goku, because before she returned to the 6th universe, they would have one of the best nights together. A few months later, in the 6th universe. Currently in the 6th universe, more precisely on the planet Sadala, the planet where the Saiyans lived, it was possible to see Cabba and Kale training together, while Caulifla was sitting under the shade of a tree that had, in that place, she was not training as usual, because Caulifla was feeling too weak in the last few days, and was constantly feeling sick apart from the fact that she was eating for 2 people during the last few times. And because of that, Kale didn't allow her friend to train until she got well again. But that was very strange, because Caulifla had never been like that before, and much less so hungry like that. And because of that surreal hunger that she had, her stomach was bigger than usual, and Caulifla was different from before, and even she didn't know exactly what she was going through for the past few weeks. Because of this strange state of Caulifla, she was forbidden by Kale to participate in combat training. But as Caulifla was very stubborn, she trained sometimes in secret. But Cabba ended up finding out, and now he and Kale were watching the Saiyan. Because Cabba and Kale were very worried about his friend, and the Saiyan companion, and that only made Caulifla even more frustrated. Especially after Cabba and Kale talked to Vados and asked her not to take Caulifla to the 7th universe, until Caulifla got better. Caulifla thought, "Damn it, I wanted to go to Universe 7 to see Goku. I miss him. But thanks to Kale and Cabba, I can't go to Universe 7 until I get better. And to make matters worse, I don't know what illness I have, so I have to take medicine and get better soon. Well, now I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk to Goku and ask him for help. And for that, I'm going to use that device I received from Vados to be able to talk to Son Goku. And I'm going to ask him to bring me a seed of the gods. And with that, I'll be as good as new. And before I know it, I'll be going to the 7th universe to train again with Son Goku, and be so close to him to kiss him. And also, my mother came back to our house today, so I'll take the opportunity to ask for her help. Maybe my mother knows what disease it is, and if she knows what it is and manages to solve it, I won't need to call Goku," thought the Saiyan, excited about the possibility of meeting her beloved Saiyan again. And with Caulifla got up and left home, leaving Cabba and Kale training on site. Cabba said, "Looks like Caulifla already left for their house. I hope Caulifla rests, and by the way, now that she's gone, we can have a moment of our own," said the Saiyan while looking at Kale, his current girlfriend. Kale spoke, in the direction of Caulifla walking. "I also think she went home. We already trained a lot today, so why not relax a little and just... because I have to go home soon too," said the Saiyan, looking at her boyfriend, who ended up giving a malicious smile, before pulling Kale by the waist and starting to kiss her in a calm manner, now in the house of Caulifla. Upon arriving at her house, Caulifla opened the door and saw that her mother was there preparing something for her and Caulifla to eat. Caulifla, when she saw her mother, who was called Coke, called her mother for a conversation, and then began to explain how she was feeling in the last few days. And after she said everything, her mother ended up with wide eyes, so Coke closed her eyes to concentrate and landed a blow on her daughter's head, making Caulifla moan in pain from the blow. Caulifla said, "Why did you do that? Why did you hit me, old woman? I'm here asking if you know why I'm feeling these things, and you suddenly hit me. What the fuck is your problem?" said the Saiyan while looking at her mother, who had a look of anger and seriousness. Coke spoke. "Caulifla, you big idiot, tell me who it is. Who was the Saiyan responsible for getting my daughter pregnant?" asked Caulifla's mother while looking at her daughter, who on hearing that had a confused expression, until Caulifla finally managed to understand, and was happy to know that, but after much thought she became worried. Coke said, "My daughter, I'm going to ask you just one more time. Who was the man you slept with and ended up getting you pregnant? You better answer me, otherwise I will have to knock on the door of every male Saiyan on this planet, and I'll find out who was responsible for getting you pregnant, my daughter," Caulifla's mother said, raising her power, making her whole house tremble due to her anger at learning that her daughter Caulifla was pregnant and not yet married. Caulifla was very nervous at the moment, but then she took a deep breath and started to explain who the Saiyan was, who would be the father of her son. And after all Caulifla's explanation, her mother Coke was long seconds thinking about all that, and then she hit the top of her daughter's head, causing Caulifla to gain a very red bump. Coke said, "You idiot! You had to get involved with a Saiyan from another universe? And not only that, but instead of marrying that Saiyan, you ended up becoming his lover, and now you're pregnant with him. I don't know what you're going to do, but you're going to talk to the Saiyan, and you're going to say that he's going to be the father of your child, and somehow this Saiyan will be a present father, even if he has to come to this universe once a month to visit and care for your new child. And don't worry, my daughter, because I'm not going to tell anyone about this, because I'm sure Cabba and Kale don't know that you and that Saiyan named Son Goku have an affair, and I doubt that Son Goku's wife has known all that too," Caulifla's mother said, getting up and going to her room, where Coke closed the door and went to sleep. Caulifla thought, "Now I have to talk to Son Goku. I just hope he reacts well to the news, different from my mother. Will he be happy when he finds out he's going to be a father? I hope so, but I can't let Vados or Champa know about it, so I'll tell Goku to ask Whis to bring him here to Universe 6, thought the Saiyan Caulifla, getting up and going to her room, picking up a type of phone-like device, calling her beloved Saiyan. It didn't take long for Son Goku to answer the device, and then Caulifla explained some things to Goku, and asked him to come to the 6th universe. But Caulifla didn't say anything about her pregnancy to the Saiyan, because she knew that Goku would end up talking too much, and so she would only count when he arrived in the 6th universe. Hours had passed, and with that, Son Goku had arrived in the 6th universe. When the Saiyan arrived in the 6th universe, he ended up greeting Cabba and Kale, who found it strange that the Saiyan was in their universe. Cabba said, "Mr. Goku, why did you come to the 6th universe? I don't think you came to train with us. After all, we went to train with you and Master Vegeta a few days ago," said the Saiyan with curiosity about the reason for Son Goku to be in his universe, and mainly on the planet of the Saiyans of the 6th universe. Goku said, "I came to talk to Caulifla. She didn't go with you for our last training, and I was worried mainly after she called me using that device that Whis gave me, so she could talk to Caulifla. She told me she was sick, so I came to see how she is," said the older Saiyan while looking at the Saiyan Cabba in front of him, who now understood why Son Goku was in his universe. Cabba said, "Got it. Okay, let's go. I know where Caulifla lives. I'll take you to her house." At this time, Caulifla may be sleeping, but she'll be happy to see you, since Caulifla was irritated for not going to train with you on our last visit to Universe 7, said the youngest Saiyan while looking at Son Goku, who just nodded. Goku said, "Whis, I'm going to Caulifla's house, and maybe I'll end up sleeping there or at Cabba's house, so you don't have to worry," said the older Saiyan, leaving the place flying with Cabba, who went ahead to guide Goku. Whis said, "You noticed something too, didn't you, my sister?" he asked the angel, his twin sister, who just gave a short laugh. Vado said, "Got it. Goku and Caulifla think they can hide something, but they never manage to hide something from us angels. I just wonder when their friends and Mr. Goku's wife Chi-Chi are going to find out that the two are having a love affair. Even more so now that Miss Caulifla is pregnant," said the angel, looking at her brother, who chuckled, and then the two angels left the room in a pillar of energy. At Caulifla's house. Upon arriving at Caulifla's house, Goku knocked on the door, and after a few seconds, Caulifla opened the door and let Son Goku in, but expelled Cabba, who left. Goku said, "Cabba, why did you ask me to come to the 6th universe? For you to call me to come to your house, it must be something very important, because if it wasn't, you could have spoken using that device that Whis and Vados gave us," said the Saiyan, curious about the fact that Caulifla had called him to the 6th universe. Caulifla spoke. "I will be brief, Goku. I called you here because I'm pregnant. You're going to have another son," said the Saiyan, looking at Goku, who turned as white as paper, and then Goku ended up falling backwards, fainting because of the great news. In the 6th universe. Currently in the 6th universe, more precisely on the planet Sadala, the planet where the Saiyans of the 6th universe lived, it was possible to see Son Goku and Caulifla together. They were at the Saiyan girl's house, and Son Goku was currently lying in Caulifla's bed, because he had fainted when Caulifla revealed that she was pregnant, and that Goku was the father. And because of this news, the Saiyan Goku ended up fainting. But after a few hours, the Saiyan of the 7th universe was waking up. It was already night when Goku woke up, and when he woke up, the Saiyan found the place strange, where he was. But it didn't take long for Caulifla to enter the room and find Goku awake, and when Caulifla entered, the oldest Saiyan ended up remembering the last events before passing out, and that ended up making him turn white as paper again. Only this time Goku didn't faint. He started to breathe so he could concentrate on what he had heard before fainting, to make sure he hadn't heard something wrong. After all, that matter was very serious, so serious that it could end Goku's life, and that worried the Saiyan a lot. Caulifla said, "I'm glad you didn't faint now, Goku. I thought you would faint again. Since you got that white face and a shocked expression, I think you had forgotten about what happened, and what I had told you before fainting. Isn't it, Goku?" asked Caulifla, looking at Saiyan Son Goku, who was still breathing deeply, to be able to assimilate everything Caulifla had said to him before he fainted. Goku said, "Actually, yes, Caulifla. The fact that you are pregnant and that this is my child left me in shock, and I ended up passing out because of this news. We've been having our moments over the past few months, but I never thought you'd end up pregnant. And are you absolutely sure you're pregnant? Because Cabba and Kale had told me that you hadn't gone to train because you were sick, and you didn't know what it was until the day at least," said the Saiyan, still with a thread of hope, hoping that it was a lie, or that Caulifla was mistaken about her pregnancy. Caulifla said, "Yes, I'm absolutely sure that I'm pregnant and that the child is yours. I talked to my mother and explained to her what I was feeling, and my mother said that I was pregnant after you passed out. I went to talk to my mother and she explained to me that my discomfort is due to the pregnancy, and that what I'm feeling are symptoms of the first weeks of my pregnancy. And there's no need to worry, because she's the only person who knows that I'm pregnant. Because I didn't tell anyone, not Kale or Cabba, much less Vados, since she would tell Whis and they would reveal it to your wife. And I know that it would hurt you a lot, so you don't have to worry about anything," said the Saiyan Caulifla, looking at her beloved Saiyan, who would now also be the father of her future son or daughter. Goku said, "If you're so sure of this, then the only thing we can do is wait 9 months, and after these 9 months we'll see if you will give birth. And if you really give birth to my child, I'll find a way to come at least 1 to 3 times a month to visit you and our son. I wasn't a very present father in my other children's lives, but now I'm trying to change and value my children more than my training. And I'm even acting as a grandfather to my oldest son Gohan's daughter. And it's not as bad as I thought before," said the oldest Saiyan while looking at Caulifla, who was happy to know that he would not leave her and her future child without a father. Caulifla said, "I'm glad to hear that, Goku. I was a little scared when I found out I was pregnant. Even more after you ended up looking like that, and then passing out. I ended up thinking that you would leave me to take care of our son alone, and that you wouldn't even come to see him. But I'm happy to know that you will try to be at least a little present in our son's life. And I'm glad that you realize the importance of family. Otherwise, I'd have to beat you until you accept to take care of your child once in a while," said the younger Saiyan with a serene expression on her face, but with a very threatening aura around her. And that scared the older Saiyan, because he knew that even though he was strong, he still couldn't beat an angry woman. Goku thought, "I may be one of the strongest mortals in all universes and the strongest in the 7th universe, but not even in a million years of training would I be able to face an angry woman, much less if that woman is Caulifla. After all, I couldn't even defeat Bulma or Chi-Chi with anger, and they are only human. Imagine Caulifla, who is Saiyan and gets stronger and her anger increases. I would not be able to defeat her even using the power of Ultra Instinct," thought the Saiyan in his mind. Goku could imagine him using the power of Ultra Instinct facing Caulifla in his Super Saiyan God form. And in that image, Goku was the one who was losing and being beaten a lot. Months later. Months had passed since the day Son Goku discovered that his lover from the 6th universe was pregnant, and after that it was no longer Caulifla who went to the 7th universe to train with the Saiyans, but Goku who went to the 6th universe to be able to see how Caulifla was. And to the unhappiness of the oldest Saiyan, Caulifla really was pregnant since her stomach was getting bigger. And like it or not, Cabba and Kale found out that Caulifla was pregnant. But Caulifla ended up saying that she didn't know who the father was because she had drunk a lot and ended up with some Saiyan. Cabba and Kale ended up believing and even revealed that Kale was also pregnant. But she knew who the father was, which in this case was Cabba, who was already planning their wedding. Something which made Caulifla's mother sad, knowing that her daughter wouldn't have something similar, since Goku was married and wasn't going to marry Caulifla. Currently with Son Goku, it was possible to see him in the planet of the God of Destruction. The Saiyan was with Whis, and they would go to the 6th universe to visit Caulifla. But Goku and Whis were going before the scheduled day because Vados had announced that Caulifla would give in the light. Vados spoke to Whis, who spoke to the Saiyan, and now they were leaving. But before they left, Beerus appeared on the scene. Beerus said, "Wait, I want to go along after all. I'm also curious to see Son Goku with that Saiyan called Caulifla," said the God of Destruction, approaching Goku. And Whis, the Saiyan Goku, when hearing that, his eyes widened in surprise. Goku said, "Wait a minute. Did you two already know that Caulifla's son is mine too?" asked the Saiyan, surprised and confused by the fact that the God of Destruction of his universe knew about that. Whis said, "Sorry, Mr. Goku, but we already knew for a long time. In fact, my sister and I knew that, but recently we had confirmation, and we spoke to Mr. Champa and Beerus about the son of 2 Saiyans from 2 different universes, and none of them were against it," said the angel, placing one of his hands on his mouth to stifle a giggle. Goku said, "Please, Mr. Beerus and Whis, don't tell anyone that Caulifla's son is mine. No one but Caulifla and I should know about this, and I beg you not to tell this to anyone, especially Bulma. If she found out about it, she would definitely tell Chi-Chi, and she'd kill me, and that would ruin my life," said the desperate Saiyan, because if Chi-Chi discovered his betrayal, Goku would be very screwed, and he could say goodbye to his life beside Chi-Chi. Whis said, "You don't need to ask us for anything, Mr. Goku. Mr. Beerus and Mr. Champa made an agreement not to say anything about this to anyone. Since for us, when you and Caulifla want to talk about your son, I know you will talk. Until then, we will not do or say anything about this matter to anyone," said the angel, looking at the Saiyan, who ended up sighing in relief. knowing that no one would know about his relationship with Caulifla, much less his son with her. Beerus said, "Right. Now let's go because I'm anxious to see the fruit of your betrayal, Goku, but relax. You won't be the first to do this, and much less the last," said the god of destruction, taking a chocolate bullet and throwing it into his mouth. So the three were close to each other, and soon after a pillar of energy surrounded Beerus, Goku and Whis soon they disappeared in a pillar of energy that rose to the heavens. Upon arriving in the 6th universe, everyone went to the place where Caulifla had given birth, and when they arrived, Beerus, Goku, and Whis had discovered that Goku's son had already been born, and that in that place were Champa and Vados, who accompanied the birth of the baby. Goku entered the room and saw that Caulifla was sleeping, and beside her there was a baby Saiyan, who had Goku's face, but with Caulifla's hair. And in addition, the baby had a Saiyan tail, something that only the Saiyans of the 7th universe possessed. And to prevent anyone from knowing that Goku was the father, he ended up cutting his son's tail. And as the Saiyan cut it quickly, the baby did not feel pain or anything like that. In the end, the son of Son Goku with Caulifla ended up receiving the name of Son Khan. But for everyone, it was just Khan. Only those who knew who the real father was would also know the real name of the baby. Thanks to the discretion of the gods of destruction and their angels, no one but Goku, Caulifla, Caulifla's mother, and the gods of destruction, Beerus and Champa, and their angels were knowing about Goku and Caulifla's relationship. And besides them, no one else. So that way Chi-Chi never discovered that Goku had betrayed her, and her children, as well as the Saiyan children of Goku, never knew that they had another brother. With that, we will end today's video. If you like this incredible story, leave many likes in the video and comment, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We'll see you another day, guys.